it gives me great pleasure to bring on ADRIAN Chong, all right, a friend. So ADRIAN has also my coursemate, a fellow Oxide, and he's the principal consultant and founder. I know he doesn't want to say this. He's a super humble guy, but brilliant and smart, and also a very people person. So he is the founder of EREVNA Leadership, and he brings more than 25 years of experience in training, sales, general management, and he himself is an entrepreneur, all right? And he has also been in senior management with regional responsibilities in a financial institution, and he specializes in team and organizational effectiveness. So apart from that, he also helps individuals to achieve bottom line results, which are very much measurable as well, because they are so vital, right, in terms of adding value to the business and the organization that you're part of. And I would say the last paragraph, you know, is something that why I look up to ADRIAN so much, because he's the first among the select few globally who is Cialdini Method certified trainer. So I think for years, when I talk about soft skills, when I talk about principles of persuasion, you know, Robert Cialdini is the guy. And then, you know, one day I hear from ADRIAN that he's bringing in the whole methodology here. I'm like, wow, he really come that close, and to the renowned godfather of influence. So I know I'm not doing justice by talking about this, you know, model and all that. I, of course, will leave you to ADRIAN. And you have to actually pay a lot to attend ADRIAN's courses, okay? Let me just tell you. So it's such a privilege to have him here. Getting to, yes, is what he's going to be talking about. And today we're going to be diving into some very interesting activities as well. So over to you, ADRIAN.
Okay, thank you very much, Eileen. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's a privilege and a pleasure to be here with all of you. Just to let you know, well, some years back, I was in this position, like some of you are, where you have a gap year. So I spent many years actually in financial services. And then during the financial crisis, I still remember that was 2008, right? I was at a board meeting actually in Ireland, right? And then we had news that one of our funds has just completely, you know, shut down, okay? One of the companies in the funds. And so how is that going to affect us? And that actually signaled the start, okay? Where Lehman Brothers, we had quite a significant portfolio of Lehman Brothers in one of our funds. And so then everything sort of unfolded, right? And so by the time we came back after the board meeting, within a very few weeks, you know, this whole financial crisis sort of exploded, right? And then before I knew it, I think it was in February of 2009, I was on the streets. Okay, yeah. So I'm in this situation where I am unemployed, you know. And one of those things that I look back and ask myself actually, what I actually wanted to do, okay? And so this was an interesting question posed by Eileen in the beginning of this segment. They say, you know, what skills do you pick up? And I keyed in training skills. And here I am now, okay, yeah, because I transited from financial services, and then I went into consulting, I went into training, and then this is what I've been doing for the past, well, how many years is that? 12 years, 11, 12 years or so, yeah?
Easily.
Yes, so since then, so we met, I think, in 2012, I believe, yeah? So that's part of that process where I studied that, okay, I enjoyed doing this. What's the science behind it? Because I strongly believe that there is a science behind psychological behaviors, or the psychology behind organizations. And that's where we did organizational psychology, right? Okay, so I can empathize with what some of you are feeling, okay? I'm going to share with you a few things, could be useful for interviews, could be But also could be very useful when you land in your jobs, okay? When you actually start working, it can be quite handy to know some of these things, okay? And we're going to talk about getting to yes, okay? Getting to yes. Now, let me see. Now, you know, when I see screens like this, okay, I can't see all of you. I only see names. Gosh, okay, I'm going to later on get ready. I'm going to invite you to turn on your cameras and say hi, okay? All right, later on, yeah? And then, yes, hi, Kenji. Do you have a plate of char kway teow there?
That's so you,
Hi, Edwin. Yeah, char kway teow is my favorite. Edwin Chok. Yeah, so I'm going to invite you to turn on your cameras, and I'll tell you why later. So turn on your cameras, okay? As long as you're decent, that's fine. Okay, as long as you're dressed, it's okay. If you're in the middle of the toilet, just wait, flush, and come out and join us. Okay, just turn on your cameras. Hi, everybody. Hi. Okay, so we're going to talk about getting to yes. And I tell you why I asked you to switch on your cameras later on. Okay, now, so getting to yes actually is very important, you know, all right? What do we mean by getting to yes? That means getting yes from someone, okay? It can be something very basic, like getting to yes from your spouse. That's the biggest yes, probably. Yeah, you got married. Most of you, or some of you, are married, right? And then that's one of your biggest yes. It affected your whole life. Okay, yeah. Then if you look at family life, you know, if every day, you know, your kids say no to you, it's going to be a massive headache, you know, okay? Yeah, it's so annoying, isn't it? Okay, okay. Then professionally, of course, professionally getting to yes is very important. Why do I say that, right? Because you could be pitching for something, you could be selling something, okay? And for an interview, you want a yes, okay? So getting to yes is actually very important for our own happiness, for professional success, as well as personal happiness. But what is getting to yes? What is getting to yes all about? Okay, right. So I'll answer this question. But first, let's have a look at this. LinkedIn actually had so this is looking from the other side, looking from the employers. So LinkedIn actually held sort of a poll, okay? And I'm sure you're all familiar with LinkedIn. Many of you have accounts, okay? And they asked for the skills that most needed in 2020, okay? Most needed. What do you think they are? Maybe you'll put in the chat. What do you think organizations need more? Soft skills. Let's talk about soft skills, because you said soft skills are important. Can you just key into the chat? What are your thoughts? What do you think are the skills? Communication, yes. Thanks, Hoon. Lim says critical thinking, yes. Growth mindset, yes. People skills, okay, yes. To inspire others, very good. Empathy, very nice. When seeing analytical skills, yes, okay. Rani with collaboration, you took off from Eileen. Okay, teamwork, yes, very important. Okay, so we all have our own views, okay, and perfectly okay, right? We have our own views. So what are the views of organizations then? What are they looking at, right? Okay, and so when they did this, let me share with you what was the outcome of it. These were the top 5 soft skills. Creativity, okay, persuasion, collaboration, adaptability. A lot of you got it, right? And 5, emotional intelligence. Okay, yeah. Now, you see a sort of a tick after the first 4. And the reason is that the tick represents non-movement from previous year's survey. So that means those 4 were in 2019 survey. So I'm taking 2020. So number 5, it says new, EQ. Okay, so what is getting to yes? Getting to yes is number 2, persuasion. Okay, so this is one of the key skills that people see that's very, very important. Very important. Why? Because whether you like it or not, everyone's in sales. Okay, you sit down, you sit down in front of Kelvin, you're selling yourself, you're selling your skills, right? Yeah. And if a yes comes about, then it's good, right? That's the first step. You get a job, right? When you're in organizations, you need perhaps a buy-in from senior management. That's a sell. Although you don't sell to individuals, or you don't sell to, or you're not a vendor, but you're selling internally. You are in HR and you want people to embrace, okay, certain policies. You need to sell, okay? And so therefore, persuasion. So getting to yes is all about persuasion, actually, right? Now, let me start off with a quick story for you, okay? So this happened in Arizona, okay? And I'm going to tell you about the story of the turquois jewelry. So what happened was that this was peak tourist period, okay? Lots of people were coming into to Arizona, and then, of course, with tourist traffic, people sell things, and one of them, this happened to be in the jewelry shop. So during this peak period, things were moving quite fast, right? The items were moving quite fast. And then there was a certain range of turquoise jewelry, okay, that this shop owner brought in. However, it wasn't moving, okay? And what she did was she tried everything to move the products, right? She tried asking them, or asked the salespeople, asked to bring them here, move the positioning to highlight the products, okay? Yeah, when people are buying something else, and then would you like also this item, okay? So all kinds of things, but to her frustration, it wasn't moving, okay? And she was leaving for a weekend convention. She was leaving for a weekend convention and said, I got to go. And then she wrote down, the shop owner wrote down actually a message to the shop manager, right? To her manager. And she said this, she just scribbled down, because she was in a hurry to go for a convention, said, everything in this display case times half. Okay, that means let's get rid of it. Okay, yeah, let's get rid of it. She came back on Monday, and of course, she was really happy. She was really very pleased because the items cleared. Everything was gone. Okay. And as she was speaking to the manager, but what really, really surprised her was that the manager actually misinterpreted her message because she scribbled it down. And what the manager actually read and took action on was it was price times 2. So actually, they doubled the price and everything moved. Okay, and that's the truth. Okay, so now what's happening here? Okay, so what's happening here? So this is where it gets interesting. So that's why, okay, I will come back to the turquoise jewelry. So I'm going to share with you, see, because when we look at how this is done, okay, the study of influence, okay, is it more art or science, or what's happening here? What's happening in people's head when they make decisions, right? So getting to yes is all about making decisions. That means, how do I decide, say yes to this particular piece of jewelry? So is it more art or science? Yeah, well, it is a lot more science. Yeah, a lot of us are quite fuzzy about things. Okay, so what happened here is where Dr. Robert Cialdini came in quite many years ago. In fact, last night, I was on a call with him, with a few of us globally. Okay, so we had a session last night till quite late, about our time, about 11 p.m. Yeah, so Dr. Cialdini is a very renowned person. He's a godfather of influence. Okay, so globally, he's recognized in his area of expertise. And why? Because, okay, he actually studied, yeah, this area of psychology and really understood and documented it as principles. Yeah? So that for us to use them and to use them ethically. That's very important, to use it ethically. So over here, yeah, he explained, okay, and through scientific principles, okay, how do we get to yes? In other words, how do we get to yes? How do we make that decision to buy? And this science here, interestingly, can be taught and can be learned. If it's an art, it's more difficult, it's a bit touchy-feely, okay, yeah, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that, but no, okay, with science, we can share with you that if you adopt, for example, option A versus option B, if you do option B, you'll be 200% more successful, your success rates, okay, that means your results, you get much better at getting results. So these things like that, we can share with you the outcomes. Exactly, if you take certain techniques, you're going to be significantly better. All right. So over the years, right, he's established and found there were 6 principles, yeah, and these 6 principles, yeah, are universal principles, okay, and you can find them in different societies, different cultures, yeah, but it's nuanced, okay. We won't go through the details of it, yeah, but essentially they are global principles as people. They operate because we are human beings. That's all, okay, and this is how we think, okay, and the way we think generally is through what we call a lot of times decision triggers, okay. Now, making decisions are very complex, you know, very, very complex, okay. So like, you know, even when you make a simple buy decision, there are many things that go through your head, yeah. A lot of times we have an information overload, and what do? We look for situations that what we call are satisficing. We look for
The word.
sufficiently satisfactory solution. Okay, so that's
Love it.
satisficing. That means satisfy your criteria. Okay, minimally that sufficiently satisfy your criteria, and we do that all the time. Okay, so the scientists have actually shared with us that a lot of our decisions we make shortcuts. Yeah, as much as 85% of your decisions. Okay, so many decisions, you may not realize that, but they are shortcuts that we create. And I'll share with you, yeah? Now, and I'll share with you why these shortcuts have related to getting to yes, yeah? Because we use the shortcuts to get to yes, yeah? Now, so we have to understand how we think and we function first. And we see this, well, simple one, supermarket. Okay, so if you walk into a supermarket, okay, if you walk into a supermarket and you have no brand preference and you want orange juice, for example, what do? You know, sometimes you go in there and then you just look out for a sign that says what's on sale there for that particular day, isn't it? Yeah, quite common if you don't have any brand preference, I'm saying, right? Yeah, so you do that all the time, right? You look for that. And a good example is when you are in a foreign country. Okay, many of us have not traveled for some time, right? When in a foreign country, if you recall that experience, you walk into the supermarket and then suddenly you see, wow, so many brands. Which one do I choose? Have you felt like that before? Yeah, I felt like that before. Like, where do I even start, right? For a moment, I'm flabbergasted. I say like, wow, so many, because I'm not familiar with all the brands. Then suddenly, I look out for some tags that say, hey, this is on promo. Then compared to the rest, what's the difference, right? And I take it. Do I analyze the 99 bottles of different orange juice there? I don't. Okay, yeah. It is a shortcut. Okay, so our mind works something like that. Okay, so coming back to the turquoise jewelry. Now, what shortcut is that happened in that situation? Okay, what shortcut was there that actually persuaded people to buy? And remember, we are talking about price times 2. Okay, yeah. So the shortcut over here is that it's expensive, therefore it's good. Okay, yeah. For certain things, it's like that, you know. So for example, you know, if you read some of the material, okay, so for diamonds, maybe you all know diamonds, right? You all know about diamonds, right? Maybe about carat, about clarity. Yeah, people know that. But turquoise jewelry, what do you know? What do you gauge? What is good for turquoise jewelry? Right? So the shortcut was price. See? So then the price indicated the quality. Have we done that before? For something that we are not familiar with?
Luxury goods.
Yeah, correct. For certain goods, right? Then we say, hey, I think this one better. Yeah. And especially if we want to give it as a gift, for example. Isn't it? Although the other person may not know the price, right? Yeah. So these are all shortcuts. Now, what happened here is that these principles we are talking about, okay, will be your shortcut. Okay. These principles will be your shortcut. Okay, let me move my screen. Yeah. So, whoops, yes. Okay. So what happened is that these principles become your decision triggers. Okay. So I'm going to share with you a couple of principles. All right. Okay. Not that many, just to highlight some of how it operates. Okay, these principles actually act as your decision triggers, and that's why they persuade you to say yes. Okay, it switches on the decision trigger. Now, it's very important that once you are aware how we make decision, is that you use it ethically. And this is, we will emphasize more actually in our full workshop. But in short, over here is an earnest and sincere lover buys flowers and candy for the object of his affections. That means, you want to woo someone, okay, yeah? You buy flowers and candy. Eileen has received many flowers and candy in her life, I think, okay? Okay, all right. So does the cat, we say. So does the cat who seeks to take advantage of another's heart. So that means someone who's manipulative. He just wants to trick her, okay? He uses the same technique. So if he succeeds, we don't blame the flowers and the candy. We instead question his character, okay? So same thing. The principles here are the carrots and the candy, okay? Yeah, they are tools to get you there, okay? Now, once you use it unethically, okay, people will look at your character and question it. So I like what Kelvin brought up and said that, don't lie, things like this. One of the basic things we go in persuasion, okay, yes, it has to be true, okay? We use information that is true. Because once you understand the psychology behind it, there are people who manipulate it. Like scammers, they manipulate that. Okay, yeah? And so once you have found out, gosh, you have lost a lot. You take many, many, many steps back, okay, in establishing yourself. Yeah? Okay, so liking. One of the principles that I'm going to share with you can come in very handy for interviews. Okay, because people essentially say yes to people they like. Okay, yeah. This happens even when you're employed. This happens before you're employed. If like for interview purposes, this can be very handy. Okay, so liking, right? And let me share this with you. Okay, all things being equal, people want to do business with their friends, we say. All things being not so equal, people still want to do business with their friends. Okay, yeah, and that's true. Meaning that even if, sometimes your friend is a little bit inconvenient to do with your friend, you still do it with him. Okay, or if it's slightly more, the price, never mind, let's support. Yeah, we have done that many, many times as people. And for this product, okay, so this is some hard research done by Frenzen and Davis in 1990. You see, the strength of the social bond is twice as likely to determine product purchase. And this is Tupperware. They studied Tupperware. And so Tupperware used to sell a lot to Tupperware parties, right? Okay. Now, of course, Tupperware products are really quite good. But what they're saying is that the friendship or the relationship is far more important to determine Tupperware sales, all right, than Tupperware itself. Okay, yeah? So this is just one of the products. Now, I'm going to do this, yeah? I'm going to ask you to participate, okay? Very quickly. So I'm going to invite you to turn on your cameras, okay? And are you all a bunch of adventurous and positive-looking people? No? Yes or no? Put out your hands. Yeah? Yes, yes. Okay, good, good. Now, I'm going to invite all of you to participate in this, okay? So you told me, yeah, that you're adventurous, right? Okay, why adventurous? Because breakout rooms happen, when you're 20, 30, but we're going to do a breakout room for 150, 160 of you. Okay, so Eileen is going to help me. Okay, now I'm going to invite you to take a picture of this question. This is your discussion topic for the next few minutes. From your experience, what is the best way to increase likability? Okay, from your own experience, what is the best way? Okay. So I'm going to invite you to turn your cameras on. You're going to get into small groups, okay? So, and then before discussing, please introduce yourselves this way. So quick one, you have about 7-8 minutes. So don't take 5 minutes for introduction, okay? I know, okay? Please don't do that. Just state who you are, your name, the area of Singapore you live in, and then your favorite food. That's all. Then a little bit more about your favorite food. Okay, all right. Yeah, but not too long, okay? Just a short one. And then discuss this. Once everybody have introduced themselves, you discuss this. Who to start first in your group? It should be 4 or 5. You go by alpha order, very simple. Maybe you see an A or B there, you just start off. And then you just pick on who goes next very quickly. Okay?
Yep.
So I want to know, okay? So this is part of the research, right? To know what is the best way to increase likability. So I want to know your personal opinions also. Okay, so when you come out, you're going to share with us. Okay, you probably won't speak. You can just type it in. Okay, yeah. All right. So very quickly, can we open up the breakout rooms? All of you will go to breakout rooms. I'll visit you in the breakout rooms. Take a picture of the question. You have about 8 minutes to have a quick chat around this. Okay, so no right or wrong. This is from your own opinions, right? Okay, and then we'll come back. Okay, very quickly. Okay, Eileen, all yours.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I had an opportunity to hop into quite a few of the rooms. Nice to meet all of you. Okay. Some had extended discussion on the favorite food, so never had an opportunity to discuss the question at all. The rooms were closing. Not surprising at all. Okay, not surprising. We'll come to that later. Right, yeah. Okay, so now, I hope you enjoyed your quick discussion. Yes, just a few minutes. Okay. Now, just have your opinion. Just key into your chats. Maybe the 1 or 2 things that you thought affects likability. Some of you had really good points and you shared with me. Just 1 or 2, very quickly. Just key into the chat. What are the things that increase likability? Okay. Yes. Smile, being friendly, empathy, sincerity. Yes. Being approachable, respect. Yes.
Common ground.
Yes. Common ground. Okay. Okay. Positivity. Yes. Okay. Right.
Mahesh sent a DM, I think it's by mistake, but he says show interest in the other person. Good
show interest in the other person. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay. So there are a couple. Okay. So let me share with you the research that has been done in this area. Okay. So there's real research actually. So I'm not faking this. All right. Now, what can be helpful? These are the few things that let me share with you. One, there are 3 things that we're looking at here, okay? And what? It's about pictures, it's about smiles, and it's about mirrors, okay? So what about pictures? Well, actually pictures, they showed in this research by Bernstein, Leon, and Gallery in 1987, that when you have pictures, that's why I asked you to switch on your cameras. Okay, that when people can see you, you actually increase likability. Okay, so now, pictures, what do you do? How is that relevant to you? So that means in a CV, you should have a picture there. Okay, and preferably a nice picture. Now, you don't have to have something that is done in the studio. You know, I think we have a lot of amateur equipment can do quite nice, decent photos. But you come across nicely. Now, of course, you can see my cursor. Can you see my cursor here? Yeah. So you have you can't see my cursor. Can you? Okay.
I can.
So,
I can.
You can. Okay. So if you have a picture like this, you know, like this man here, and unfortunately, I changed the picture. Okay. Yeah. Get another picture. Very important. Okay. So that's why I asked you to switch on your camera. Then the next thing is a lot of interviews are done on Zoom now. Okay, so I noticed then that some of you have your profile pictures on Zoom. Okay, some of you have very nice ones. Okay, I noticed Mahesh had one. Okay, yeah, and a few of you had. I would recommend you to change your profile picture. Why? Because sometimes you have a waiting room, or somehow your camera is turned off. Okay, and the interviewer hasn't even seen you yet, for example. Okay, it will help when you have a nice picture there. Of course, if you can have other pictures there to have a conversation, yes. But if you want liking to appear, have a nice picture in your profile for Zoom even. okay? Because you turn off your cameras at times and people are having impressions of you based on that few seconds, okay? Now, a lot of times, as I said, when people say yes, they are unaware. So all of this helps in the liking. Once it's so much easier to say yes when they like you, all right? All right, okay, so that's with pictures. Next is with an authentic smile. Look at that baby smile. Can you all smile, huh? Now, smiling, okay? Now, some of you have very nice smiles. I can see here, Michelle, Ted Wu, smiling, right? Yeah, okay. Now, people can tell the difference, okay? It seems we have sensors in our brains to tell us whether they are authentic or not authentic, okay, or inauthentic, what we call it, right? So this is a shortcut, or perhaps I can share with you to have that authentic smile. In order to be authentic, we say find something to like about the person. Okay, so even if you're a person that you don't like, think about something. Maybe this person is very good with dogs. Okay, he's not very good with other people, but he's good with dogs. All right, so think of him as a really good person that looks after dogs, and then your smile becomes better. You say, yeah. So smiling does help a lot. Okay, the next thing is the behavior in front of others. Okay, it's about mirroring. Okay, mirroring is the behavior where you subconsciously imitate the gestures of the other person. Okay, yeah, whether he leans forward, leans back. Okay, speech pattern, the speed of speech pattern. You know, you adjust to the other person. Okay, so that person feels a lot more comfortable, right? And so this is subconscious, right? So mirroring creates a sense of liking, a sense of bond somehow, right? Okay, so these are some of the things. And one of the things that actually really creates liking, and some of your groups brought it up, okay? Yeah, some of the groups brought it up just now, okay? All right, so now, did you enjoy your discussion just now? Some of you, some of your team, some of them, I went in there total silence, to tell you the truth, okay? Yeah, they all went to the toilet together, I presume, okay? Okay, so now some of you enjoy it, right? And have extended discussions on food, where's the best way to a place to get lor mee, char kway teow, all these things. Am I right? Yeah? Okay, so now what just happened there in that short period of 5 to 6 minutes? Yeah, did you have a positive vibe of the people around you, or maybe not all, but specific people, right? And then what is the topic that sort of spurred that conversation? Most likely, okay, was about food. And okay, was about food. And so having this discussion itself, I'm giving you a first-hand experience. That's why I was telling Eileen, can we do this? And then he said, are you sure you want so many breakout rooms? It's because of first-hand experience, within 5 or 6 minutes, you find that you can sort of relate to someone, okay? And it's all about similarity, right? Similarity over here, yeah? Okay, we like others who are like us, okay? And it is something that's very human, okay? We talk about application later. So now we just learn, you know, what are the factors that affect liking. So this happens, and then you have a quick chat, and then about, you know, before you know it, you're talking about, you're recommending your favorite stall, okay? Or some people will start arguing which is better, you know, things like that. But it's something that bonds you, okay? Yeah. Now, if you look at it, yeah, similarity can come in many forms, okay? Nationality can be a similarity, okay? Those of you who have studied abroad, you will find suddenly, you know, you find, hey, out of the blue, you hear a fellow Singaporean, and then you just come together, okay? Yeah. You have different interests. So the pictures you see here, those of you who like cars will recognize that these are Alfa Romeos, okay? This happened to be my friend's cars, all right? Yeah. So when he left Singapore, he lives in Australia now, I bought over his Alfa Romeo, okay? And then now, okay, we only had one Alfa Romeo in Singapore. And now he has 3 or 4 Alfa Romeos in Australia, because he said the same amount of money he could buy 4. Okay, yeah? All right. And they are all very old classic Alfa Romeos. Now, so if I told you who he was, okay, and his name is Kenneth, right? And if you know Kenneth, even if you don't know him from Adams, okay, you talk about cars, suddenly you're best friends. Okay, yeah, just like the way we spoke about food in the 5-6 minutes that you were in the room. Okay, so it can be interests, it can be other attributes that you may have, okay, that bring about similarity. So what's the application here? Well, you can't really fake these things. Okay, so you can't fake it. Yeah, then focus on liking others. Okay, how liking happens is that, yes, we talk about you being likable, but when you like others, when you show genuine liking for others, okay, people will like you back. Okay, of course, we can go into the details of the psychology, but that's how it works. Okay, so when you start liking other people, yeah, and what do you look for? How do you start? You talk about similarities, one of the things that you can do. Yeah, so I want to. Okay, I want to be able to like the people that I work with. So I find out about them and say, hey, okay, there are similar areas, yeah, that we can connect. Yeah. Now, liking becomes very, very applicable at interviews, because a lot of times you ask yourself, would you hire someone that you don't like? Very hard, right? Yeah. So if you have two candidates, they are of equal standing, right? Okay, qualification wise, then you just, okay, a gut feel will tell you, say, okay, I go with the person I feel more comfortable with. That's it. That's very human. And what you mean, okay, so in lay language, it's actually comfortable, but actually it's all about liking. That means you tend to prefer someone over the other person. You say, I don't know, I feel more comfortable, things like this. You can't really explain. So how do you do this? Of course, these are the subtle things, the pictures you have, the smile you have, okay? Talk about similarities. So sometimes interviewers will pick up something in your resume. So I see that you're from Temasek Junior College. You just say something like that and then venture a question. You say, oh, were you also from Temasek? Why would he mention that, right? Unless maybe his son or you know someone there. Then when he mentions that, okay, yeah, you use that as an opportunity. You say, okay, perhaps there's some linkage here. And you build on it a little. Don't stay, passive. You know someone or yourself from Temasek. Then you talk about it. Oh, actually, it's my wife. And then use that. Okay, that similarity, you'll be surprised. It's in passing, will happen in 30 seconds, that kind of conversation that has no impact at all, perhaps. But psychologically, it has. There is a sense of commonality there that will happen. Okay, so these are some of the things that you can do to bring about liking. Okay, are we all right so far? Okay. Now, of course, liking is a much bigger topic. I'm bringing out some key aspects of it, right? Okay, the other one is reciprocity. How much time do we have, Eileen?
I think probably you can take another about 10 minutes.
Okay. I'm going to talk a little bit about reciprocity, and it's quite useful when actually you find that when you have work, when you're already working, right? Yeah. And how you build this, even now, if you're in between, okay, don't discount this way of creating relationships, okay? You never know when your next gig, your next opportunity comes from, okay? So what you do is to build relationships. So just now, when we talk about liking, it's about relationship. Reciprocity is also about relationship. And this is it. Okay, this is the principle. People feel obligated to give back to those who give them first. Okay, simple, very simple. Yeah. So we are hardwired actually to reciprocate, okay. Yeah. When you receive a gift, okay, there's a part of our brain that is called the amygdala, okay, and prefrontal cortex, okay. It relates to emotion, decision making, okay. And so it activates that, okay. And what will happen is that there is a cognitive conflict, meaning that you receive something, then you feel like, oh, I want to give back. Okay. So in Singlish, it's called paise lah. Okay, so this is the paise principle. Okay, yeah, you feel very paise. That's why you go to your friend's house, okay, to resolve this. Yeah, you resolve this, you give back. Okay, so that's why when you go for dinner to your friend's house, right, Wiping, you bring something along. Okay, because there's cognitive conflict in your head, because you feel so bad every mouth you eat. Okay, you feel so paise, cannot swallow, right? So you bring something along to resolve this issue, and then you feel okay. Then you bring a bottle of wine or something like that. Okay, okay. So this is something hardwired into us. Okay, now we got to ask ourselves, oh, what can we do? What can we give to others to build that relationship? Now, of course, these are tangible things that we talk about. Okay, yeah, but actually, yeah, this also works. This principle also works on intangible items. When you give time to someone, okay, when you put effort into something, okay, when you give attention, when you smile, okay, yeah, when you provide information, okay, very important, okay, when you provide effort, when you provide help. Now, even if you're in between jobs, there are things that you can do right now, okay, to help, to provide information, okay, yeah, to provide attention to someone, okay, and then it may be picked up by someone else. And my principle of how I use this is that this becomes ongoing in life. It's not that we want something and therefore we give so that we can get something back. That means we start being, helpful to others. And then use that even when you move into a job, and then use that. Be helpful, continue to be helpful. One of the things that I notice, people who are very successful, and then they have all kinds of connections. Some of my friends got all kinds of connections to get things done. Why? Because they have helped others. And they say, oh, I think this guy owes me something. Okay, we just make a call and then gets things done. Why? It just didn't come overnight, right? He was helpful to the other party first. And so it continues. This sense of obligation is there. Yeah. Okay. Now, this useful thing that I will share with you can come in this form. Okay. Okay. So I'll give you a very specific situation here, a research. Yeah. They wanted to find out if a particular technique of framing requests would increase the probability of yes. That means the way you ask, okay, will increase the probability of yes. Yeah. Interesting, right? So the researchers wanted to know, right? So what did they do? Okay. So they actually asked something that was really quite tough, the researchers, right? The researchers asked a whole lot of college students, okay, whether they would want to take delinquent kids, delinquents, that means these are misbehaving kids, okay, misbehaving young children to the zoo for a day, okay. Yeah, so they asked these college kids, whether they would like to do it, okay. Now, of course, not many, okay, not many would like to do it, right? Okay, so what's the response? Yeah, okay, as expected, the vast majority said no. 83% refused. Okay, however, a similar group of college students were asked the very same question, but this particular group, the results 50% said yes. Very significant, isn't it? Yeah. So this is 3 times more people actually said yes. Said yes, I will bring these delinquent kids, okay, to the zoo. Okay. What did the researchers do? What was the difference? Right? So it's the way they ask the question. Right? Okay. Okay. So this is interesting. This research is very interesting. Okay. Now, of course, yeah, more time, we'll chat a little bit more about the details. So I share with you the results of this research. Right? Now, this is what they did. Yeah, this is what they did. Okay? This is a solution. The researchers actually asked for even bigger requests first. For this particular group of students, those that responded 50% of the time, they actually asked them a much bigger request. And what was it? Okay, The researchers asked these kids, okay, to spend 2 hours per week as counselors to juvenile delinquents for a minimum of 2 years. Okay, all right, for 2 years commitment, you know, yeah. And then when they said no, okay, when they said no, immediately the next question was, would it be okay then if you spend just 1 day to bring them to the zoo? Would it be okay? That was the question. And the answer was yes. Half of them said yes. Okay, now, okay, so this was done in 1975. Yeah. Now, this is a very important research and has implication for a whole range of things, from sales to negotiations to many, many things. Yeah. Okay, so the reason is this. Okay, concession leads to reciprocal concession. Okay, so this is how it works. Yeah, because when initially the researcher asked for 2 years of commitment, and then the student says no. When the researcher receives the no, say, okay, I accept it. I accept your no. Then, okay, that's a concession. When I accept your no, it's a concession. So what do I do? Okay, when I accept your no, I get ready with another request. Okay, so my second request is smaller. My second request is just spend a day at the zoo with the kids. So because I have taken in your concession, now it's your turn to give a concession. So that means it's your turn to say yes. Okay, so this is how it works. So concession leads to reciprocal concession. Okay, all right. So now that's how it works. Yeah, but the thing is, okay, we have to be really ethical about this. That means not fake and ask something really big that's not real. That means ask what ideally you want. Okay. Now, always prepare yourself for a no. That's what we say. Okay. So that's why there's a lot of implication for sales, for negotiation, many things here, the application. Yeah. So what do? You prepare fallback plans. Yeah. Always prepare fallback plans. And it is not something that can be done as an afterthought. It should not be. That means when you think through a proposal, say, okay, you think through of plan A, what's the ideal that you're looking at, okay? Then plan B, okay? Already you think through. So you don't wait for a no, and then plan C maybe, okay? So that when you get your no, okay, yeah, have something ready. And this can be used in many situations. Whether you are in negotiation for your package, okay, whether you are already in the job and you know, and you are presenting something and you get a no, always have a fallback plan, okay? Because from here we know that you will become your probability of success is 3 times greater, okay, if you have a fallback plan. All right, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is very good. Because, you know, one of the areas that job seekers can apply is at the point where you receive the negative news of not landing the job. If the employer makes an effort to communicate that to you, you know, of course, there are some who just leave you in the dark and you never know. And after a few months, of course, you know, you might not already be on the list, but this is really useful, because if you get a no, you're rejected, this is the best time to launch in your other smaller requests, right? So think about it. Some of the smaller requests could be, you know, other employers who may have similar positions that are available. And another thing that we can always say is, should the person you're offering the the job to does not work out, remember me. All right. This is something that we don't say because we feel so embarrassed that we get rejected already.
Sure. Yeah. But it can be used for many different things. In other words, we just tell you, get your fallback plan ready. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think that's all we have time for. Is that correct, Eileen?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are other resources. Yeah. But then they are in book forms. Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so perhaps, let me see. Okay, this is my LinkedIn. And we do courses on this also, okay, of
Right.
persuasion, okay,
Right.
all right, yeah. And I'm going to just leave it to you, Helene, how you're going to do the Q&A.
I think there's a question addressed to you, Adrian, from Angela, and she says, how can we use reciprocity technique in the interview?
Okay. So reciprocity within the interview, not so straightforward. Okay, reciprocity is about giving first. So because he or she could be just asking you questions and things like that. Okay, so one way is that to show how that means you're willing to give. Okay, how helpful you are.
I think there are a couple of pointers that I can think of, if I can chime in. You know, one of it is to offer pro bono. You know, if there is a particular project to give, I mean, basically, right. But of course, you need to draw the line as in you're very interested in a particular project. You know, so that's one. Of course, pro bono is not for everyone. Some people feel comfortable, some people don't feel comfortable. Yes. Both sides. And then another one, you know, is really to help them place someone in the role, because let's say halfway through the interview, you might feel like, I don't think I'm gonna be that fitting to the role. In fact, I know of someone who might be a better fit. Then I think the interviewer is going to be very shocked that you kind of sidestep yourself and then, you know, show them another talent or something. I don't know.
Yeah, Eileen, there's another way, but you see, the thing is, it's not so much there. So, for example, if you have a history of giving also, right? And you have, say, participated in something, whether in parent support group, whether you are active in perhaps in a charity organization or in your church or in your temple, put it down. Okay, so that's your history of giving. So the giving may not happen then, but then you can highlight it and say, oh yeah, I've been active in these areas. Okay, so then he can see that, oh, okay, you have been giving, and there's a track record of it.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we come to the Q&A segment. So first, let me just thank both speakers as well. This is the link to download Adrian's deck.